What's going on? It's Hagbones, coach of your Vancouver Kyogres, and today I'll be bringing you our draft recap of a new league that I'm bringing to the channel. Um, First one of the channel, to be honest, and I got invited into this league by a good friend Kyle. Shoutouts to him. Um, I wanted to. Oh, if anyone's interested, it's a Discord league. They're called the World Draft Elite League, and in it you get the tiers are run by Smogon, so you get OU down to PU, and then you get 450 points to choose your free mons, which you get five. So you get 5 free picks. You get to spend 450 points on, and OU starts at 200, and then it starts going down in increments by 50. And then when you get to your PU tiers, you actually get 50 points added on to your point total. So we ended up getting 10th overall pick, and we ended up grabbing Cresselia as our first pick. The only reason why I picked Cresselia first was it was a tier 3, and it's really, I find for me that's very a discount price. So I wasn't sure how long it was going to last up on the draft board, so I ended up picking up Cresselia. It's got really good stats with 120 HP in its defenses and 130 in special defense. It's really hard to take down and can be really annoying. And the only real way to even deal with it would be using a Z Crystal, like a dark Z Crystal or a bug Z Crystal, or just statusing it to toxic. A few of the things that Cresselia can do is it sets up and use Calm Mind, and it's got good. It's got good spread, so you can use Energy Ball, Ice Beam, I guess Lunar Dance, sets up screens. Lunar Dance is cool. It kind of kills itself and replacement it fully heals a Pokemon on your team. It's got Recovery and Moonlight. It gets Shadow Ball, double status with Thunder Wave and Toxic. It can Trick Room. It gets Gravity, which is pretty neat, but for my team wouldn't really be very well. But it's got Speed Control with Icy Wind. That's about it for Cresselia. There's not much more about it you can use. Psycho Shift would be cool, so like in case someone wanted to toxic us, we could use a Flame Orb and Psycho Shift status back to someone else, so that'd be pretty cool. Our next pick, we ended up picking our Mega, and we went with Tyranitar. Tyranitar is stupid strong. Its stats are like insane, and with the stand up, and actually our special defense is probably higher than our defense. Because in the sand with rock types, you get 1.5 times boost to your special defense. And even before, I mean, pre-evolution or pre-mega evolution abilities still get Sandstream, which we'll probably be using anyways. So, Tyranitar has a lot of ridiculous coverage moves and whatnot with Aqua Tail, Avalanche. It's break, crunch. You can make it special, or you can make it physical. Dragon Claw, Dragon Pulse sets up with Dragon Dance, which is one of its primary sets. You can phase out with Dragon Tail. It gets both Earth Power, Earthquake. It gets all Fire Blast, Fire Fang, Flamethrower, Ice Beam, Ice Punch, Iron Head. It gets insane amount of can Pursuit Trap, another phase Roar, can Rock Polish instead of Dragon Dance. Um, Seismic Toss, Stealth Rocks, it gets everything. Thunderbolt, even Thunderwave, gets Taunt, Surf. You don't see Tyranitar a lot in most of the, I've seen in most drafts, but it's very underrated, I think, and it's one of the 1 megas I wanted to use. My next pick I was going to go for Volcarona, but it ended up getting picked like literally a round before I got to get to it. So instead I decided to finish off my Psychic, Dark, and Fighting core, so I ended up picking up Keldeo. I've never used Keldeo in draft, but it's got some pretty good stats. It's 108 speed, it's really fast. It's got decent bulk with 90s in both defenses and 91 in HP. Really good ability, especially if we got Cresselia. Once someone uses a dark type move, we can switch in on, we get a justified boost, which goes up 1 stage if we get hit by dark type moves. The cool thing with Keldeo is you can make it, even though it's only got 72 attack, you can make it physical. It gets Sword Dance, so you can bulk up on your attack. But you can bulk up on both sides, special and physical. And it gets priority with Aqua Jet, and Endeavor. So it would be cool, so it could be like Focus Sash, Endeavor, and Aqua Jet. Close combat, it gets speed control with Icy Wind, Poison Jab, Secret Sword, which it damages the target based on defense, not special defense. So Keldeo is mostly there for its special attacking. So like if they set up with more of a special bulk for it, Secret Sword kind of hits on the defense side. So it gets Taunt, but you never see Keldeo's ever use Taunt. So other than that, Keldeo's pretty one trick. So that's about it for Keldeo. Our next pick, we ended up going with Scizor. Scizor is a really good underrated UU-mon. It's got decent bulk on the physical side with 70 HP and 100 defense, but it's got a massive 130 attack, and it's got Technician, which it boosts up 60 power base for 1 stage. So Scizor it's really good in a sense with its Technician with Bullet Punch. Priority plus, it's +1 priority, so you get stab boosted Technician bullet punches, and that does a really good good fare for our fairy types, which so far with the picks we made we're pretty weak to fairy type. So it's a really good defogger. I think in the league we can't baton pass speed and stats, but we can baton pass one or the other. So if we like Sword Dance up or agility, we can baton pass into something else. It's got good coverage with knockoff. It's really good support move. Also pursuit traps. It's got priority and quick attack. Longevity. We got Roost, and sets up Tailwind, U-turn for turn coverage, and that's about it. Actually, another good set would be is Curse. Curse is a good set because it boosts attack and defenses, so it can be even more bulkier. That's about it for Scizor. Either you're using as a bullet punch, U-turn, Roost, defog, or sets up with Sword Dance bullet punch, U-turn, or X-Scissor, and I don't know, you can even use Bug Bite. Next pick, I wanted to go with a fairy type because coming into our 5th pick, there wasn't a whole lot left. So I ended up going down the bottom of the barrel, and NU ended up picking up Aromatisse. Aromatisse is actually a pretty decent fairy type. It's got good HP, 101, and it's got decent defenses with 89 in special defense and 72 in defense. It's got a good special attack with 99. The abilities are pretty lackluster, I would assume. Aroma Veil is probably the one you'd use because a healer would be more of a doubles. But I liked Aromatisse because it gets it's a cleric, so if something gets poisoned or burned or whatever, we can come in here and aromatherapy, and it takes away all our statuses away. Except with Calm Mind, it disables. So like if someone was hurting, we could disable and they couldn't use the move. It's got good coverage with Energy Ball and Flash Cannon. Actually gets Heal Bell as well, so they do the same thing, Heal Bell and aromatherapy. It's just, I don't know. Actually, this thing gets Nasty Plot. I didn't know that, so that's pretty good, pretty cool. So we can set up with Nasty Plot. We can set up with Calm Mind. More coverage in Psychic and Psyshock. Refresh. So if we wanted to set up and someone needed to break us down by using Toxic, we can refresh and it would take away our status. Thunderbolt, Trick Room, and Wish. Another reason why I picked it is because I wanted a Wish Passer. Aromatisse is a very good Wish Passer. Another good Charge Beam, Thunderbolt. Other than that, Aromatisse is there for being a cleric, Wish Passing, and just being annoying. Our next pick was Frostlass. Frostlass is Ghost Ice type, so I wanted something that was gonna spin block. So if we put hazards on their side and they wanted to rapid spin, we could come in with our Frostlass and block their spin, and their hazard would still be on their side. The only good thing, I mean, Frostlass has really lackluster stats other than its speed. And it doesn't have the greatest of abilities either, but Curse Body is not that bad. One thing that Frostlass is really good at is supporting your team around them. So we could try and do like a Hail of Roar Veil thing, so that would boost both. It'd be like a light screen and reflect all together. Destiny Bond in case something was getting out of hand and we really need to get rid of something, we can Destiny Bond, and if it takes us down, it takes down the enemy with them. Disable, it gets Hex, Ice Beam, Ice Shard for priority, Shadow Ball for stab, Spikes, Sucker Punch, Taunt, Will-O-Wisp. So we can run our Will-O-Wisp and Hex set. Hex does double the damage based on status. I don't think it gets anything else down here. Frost Breath always results in a critical hit. It gets Weather Ball, so that'd be pretty interesting to run. It depends on the weather. I don't know what it does with the sand, but that's something we could probably use depending on who we're playing and what the team is like. So that was all our regular picks, and now we ended up getting into our points picks. So we started with 450. I don't have a dragon yet, so I wanted to pick up a really good dragon. The best one available was Dragonite. Dragonite is actually probably one of my favorite dragons. It's got an amazing ability with multi-scale, so if it's at full HP, the damage taken is halved, so it's almost impossible to take out Dragonite with one hit unless you're probably using a Z move. But it's got good stats. It's really bulky. 91 in HP, 95 in defense, is 100 in special defense. The good thing about Dragonite is that it gets one of my favorite sets is probably like a weakness policy Dragon Dance set. So weakness policy, if you hit with super effective move, it boosts your attack and your special attack up by 2. And then when you do that, you're hitting Dragon Dance, so you're also gaining speed. And Dragonite is a really good late game sweeper or mid game sweeper. It's got priority in Aqua Jet, it gets defogged at Draco Meteor and Dragon Dance, extreme speed. It's a really good move. It's +2 priority, so it nearly always goes first. So it's got really good coverage moves. It's got Fire Blast, Fire Punch, and Flamethrower. It's got Focus Blast. It's actually a cleric. You can get Heal Bell, which never really gets used at all. Ice Beam and Ice Punch, so lots of coverage. Rock coverage, longevity with Roost. Can run a subset with Substitute and Dragon Dance or whatever. Gets Thunder Wave, Tailwind, Toxic. Well, everything gets Toxic, so. But we can run some really cool stuff. You could argue that Fly would be alright, but it gets Icy Wind as well, so more speed control. That's about it for Dragonite. Lots of moves. So that's another reason why it makes Dragonite such a good draft mon. So that's 200 points. So we have 250 points left. My next free pick, I end up picking one of my favorite draft mons that I've always liked using, and ended up picking up Diggersby. Diggersby is probably one of my favorite draft mons, and I usually always end up drafting it. So Diggersby cost 150 points, which is not too bad. Its stats are pretty good. It's pretty thick with 85 HP and then 77 in both the defenses. But right here, 56 attack. Now you can arguably say that that's not very good, but it gets the ability Huge Power, which the attack is doubled. So basically, you have like 112 base power attack. So that's what makes Diggersby such a threat. Diggersby is a great. You can use agility and then a Z move, or it's a great Choice Scarfer, which majority of people use Choice Scarf Diggersby. It sets up, it gets bulk up, and it gets Swords Dance. Earthquake, it gets coverage and Fire Punch, it gets Gunk Shot, Ice Punch, Iron Head knockoff. It's rock coverage, Stone Edge, Rock Slide. If you want to make it maybe more of a support defensive set, it gets Super Fang, cuts your opponent's HP in half, and it gets U-Turn, which is another good coverage move. And also it gets Thunder coverage with Thunder Punch and Wild Charge. It gets also flying coverage with Bounce, which is kind of like Fly as well. It actually gets speed control with Rock Tomb. Another weird set could be where it gets Recycle. One of its abilities is Cheek Pouch, which is if this Pokemon eats a berry, it restores a third of its max HP after the berry's effect. So like you could run like a Super Berry with Cheek Pouch and Recycle and make it really thick, but it's not the. I don't think I've ever seen anyone use anything like that, but it's something that you could do. So I already used 350 points. I only had 100 points left. So I decided to start dipping into a really low tier. So I ended up going with Magmar. Magmar is actually pretty underrated. It's actually really good. Since it's like a pre-evolution, you can use Eviolite, which gives you both of your defenses a 1.5 boost. So with like a 65 HP and 57 defense and 85 defense, it can become pretty bulky. It's got a really good speed tier with 93, good special attack with 100 and a 95 attack. Its abilities are not bad. Flame Body and Vital Spirit. Probably use Flame Body most of the time unless I know that someone's going to bring some sleep status against me. But since it's a Gen 1 Mon, it gets some pretty good coverage and pretty good attacks. It gets like Fighting Stab, Cross Chop. It gets all these fire moves. It actually gets Mach Punch, which I actually didn't know, so that's pretty cool. So we get some priority on it. And Seismic Toss, which is really good for a bulky set. It gets Will-O-Wisp, so good Will-O-Wisp set. Don't know what else it gets. Belly Drum. That could be interesting. Could be like a Belly Drum Mach Punch set, so more like a physical. Gets Curse, which is more bulk, more setup. Fire Spin, which traps opponents in, so you can use a Fire Spin Toxic Protect set, which would be really annoying. I think that's about it for Magmar. So other than that, it's a really good underrated Mon, I think. And with that pick, it put us up to 150 points because it gave us more points than taken away. But I still wanted more points, so I ended up dipping back into the lower tier. I ended up going with a Alolan Golem. The reason why I picked a Alolan Golem was because I needed an electric type, and it's got decent stats too. It's really thick. It's got 80 HP with 130 defense. Another reason why, like with Tyranitar, it gets the Sand Stream. So with it being a rock type, it actually boosts its special defense too. So it makes it overall a pretty bulky Pokemon and hard to take down. And its abilities are pretty decent. I like this one, Galvanize, which changes its normal types to electric type and gets a 1.2 power boost from it. So with Golem, I mean, you could make some really cool sets. You can make like a weakness policy, and it gets really good setup with Autotomize. So you can bring an Autotomize and weakness policy set. And this thing, if it's played right, and depending on what team it's against, it could sweep. But other than that, I think that it would be mostly used for like defensive with like Stealth Rock. Maybe a Suicide Lead with Explosion. With Galvanize, it turns Explosion to an electric type, so really good coverage. It's ground coverage with Earthquake, Fire Blast, Fire Punch, Flamethrower, Gyro Ball. More power the slower the user than the target. So Golem is pretty slow, so it'd be really good coverage and pretty big power. It gets Heavy Slam, so it goes by weight. So Golem is really heavy. So I told you it gets Stealth Rock, so it also gets Roar, so you can Stealth Rock and phase out. Gets Rock Blast, which is a decent move. Hits 2 to 5 times in one turn, so that could be good. Just like Autotomize gets Rock Polish. The difference with Autotomize is it lowers your weight. So Golem also gets Superpower, Thunderbolt, Thunder Punch. It actually gets Volt Switch, which is new from Gen 7. which is neat. Another curse set could run. Also, we could run like I would say an endure set with weakness policy, but I don't think that's worth it. We're too slow for that. Rock Tomb, Magnet Rise. Magnet Rise, it raises us up above the ground, so ground types can't hit us. It gets Steamroller, actually I didn't know that. Bug type move, so that could be something interesting. Now that's about it for that guy. So that put us up to 200 points, and the only reason why I needed to pick those two because I wanted a really good grass type. And for our last pick, surprisingly, we ended up actually picking up Tapu Bulu. I don't know how it ended up all the way through 11 rounds, but it did. And that's the reason why I picked up those last two, was so I can get up to 200 points. So I'm gonna pick up another OU and Tapu Bulu. Tapu Bulu is one of the Tapus that get Grassy Surge. So upon switch in, it summons Grassy Terrain, which is really good for my team because I'm pretty weak to ground. Not really, but fairly weak. So with Grassy Terrain, it makes ground moves weak. So I have a Diggersby, but I can play around that. Bulu's got really good stats with 70 HP, 130 attack, and 115 defense. It's got decent speed with 75. Bulu gets a lot of good setup moves. We get Bulk Up and we get Sword Dance. So Bulu is just one of those mons that could be really annoying. So a lot of sets I've seen would be like sub protect Leech Seed and then like Horn Leech or Wood Hammer or whatever you want. I've never seen it done. Actually, I have seen it done once. Oh no, I had a friend named Tony who had a Kartana set that used Calm Mind. Calm Mind, Flash Cannon, and Giga Drain. It was pretty interesting, but I don't think we'll ever use a Calm Mind Bulu. A lot of the sets that are used for Bulu is Horn Leech, Wood Hammer, Mega Horn, Rock Slide, Super Power. You never see anyone using Synthesis or Taunt. And I'm gonna start dropping frames. Oh no, we picked back up. No, it lasted a few seconds. So yeah, that is the 11 Pokemon that I chose for my draft team. And then we had to draft one Z Crystal, which I've never been a part of. I'm usually used to open Z Crystals. So we had to randomize the draft order, and I ended up picking 6 overall. I ended up picking up ICMZ, which was the better of the ones that I could have used. I was going to pick Rocky MZ, but I ended up getting ICMZ, which is not bad because half my team can, well, I think that majority, 95%, can use ice moves. So I ended up picking up ICMZ. I think that's everything. So with Draft League runs, you battle your opponent, you get weekly opponents. So it'd be 1 battle a week, and I think there's 16 teams, so it's pretty decent sized league. So team builders and battles will probably uploaded weekly. So it kind of depends on when your opponent is able to battle and when we can agree on a time. So and that is my team. I hope you can support the Cougars, and hopefully we can win a championship in this league. Thanks for watching, and I will see you probably, I think we start our battles this week, possibly. If not, then it starts next week. So if not, our first battle will go up either this weekend or next weekend. Alright. See you guys later.